is brought to you by BH Paints.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
9 o'clock.
Factual, insightful, and credible. It's Nationwide News Now at 9.
Good morning, I'm Andrew Cannon. Coming up in the news at 9 for this morning, Saturday, December 14, 2024, economists call on the BOJ to do a better job of balancing the needs of customers and deposit-taking institutions regarding the availability of currency notes. Ministry of Labour and Social Security says it will continue conciliatory discussions with the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association on Tuesday, December 17. Man who forced teenager into performing sexual acts on multiple men has been sentenced to 11 years in prison. In news from the region, 6 opposition legislators in Bahamas, including the opposition leader Michael Pintard, suspended for their role in mace-throwing incident. While on the international scene, South Korea's President Yoon suspended after MPs vote to impeach him. And in sport, rain frustrates Australia and India in the third test. The details after this. Two economists believe the Bank of Jamaica BOJ must do a better job of balancing the needs of customers and deposit-taking institutions in terms of the availability of currency notes. They are reacting to the news that the BOJ has decided to ration the supply of $5,000 notes going into the Christmas season. One of the economists, Keenan Faulkner, says the move will force customers to carry larger volumes of cash.
I know sensitization and education would have happened regarding the $2,000 bill, and that's always important to get persons to use it. But the fact is, if I have extremely large transactions, if I'm substituting a $5,000 bill for a $2,000, then it means now for every $10,000 I have to carry 5 times as many notes. So no, in the wider economic space, yes, the value of the notes in circulation will probably still be consistent with seasonal demand, but no, the volume would have to increase because you're now withholding the $5,000 and trying to put more $2,000.
The BOJ has reportedly been working with banks and security companies to stock ATMs with denominations lower than the $5,000 note. However, some banking institutions have taken issue with the decision, noting the additional logistical costs associated with the $2,000 note versus the $5,000 note. They are also reportedly concerned that when people start getting paid next week, the machines may not be able to facilitate the expected level of withdrawals and will run out of cash quickly. While the BOJ has dismissed the concern as a matter for the commercial banks to address, development economist Dr. Christian Stokes says there is a material issue that the central bank cannot ignore.
Marty, in the context of Jamaica, where somebody may be taking home for the week $20,000, $5,000 at a shot is a lot, right? So is it that there's a small vocal minority that is complaining that they can't get the 1,000 and 2,000, or is it the majority? And I think we need to understand where that line is, and I think the banks in particular have to do some more calibration of the demand for notes and try to find a spot where the customer can be reasonably satisfied. Not everybody's going to be perfectly satisfied, but just to say, you know what, hold this $5,000 because it's more convenient for me is not sustainable.
Dr. Christian Stokes, development economist, chairman and CEO at NCS Enterprises, and before him, economist Keenan Faulkner. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security says it will continue conciliatory discussions with the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association on Tuesday, December 17. The talks, which also include the Ministries of Health and Wellness, as well as Finance and the Public Service, are seeking to settle wage concerns. The island's junior doctors staged a sick-out last Monday over several aspects of the new wage arrangements within the government. Normality was restored Monday evening following the intervention of the Labour Ministry. In a release on Friday, the Labour Ministry says there has been some progress. It says it expects the parties will arrive at an amicable settlement. $5 million. That's the amount of money the Art of Living Foundation and the Amber Group are donating to Jamaica for a series of projects across the country. Speaking on Friday during a courtesy call meeting with Indian guru and spiritual leader Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, Prime Minister Andrew Holness listed the various areas to which the funds will be applied.
In this spirit of cooperation, I am pleased to acknowledge the Art of Living Foundation and the Amber Group for their generous humanitarian aid package valued at US $5 million. This contribution will enhance key areas such as prison rehabilitation, education, rural development, and other areas providing real and lasting benefits to many Jamaicans in need. Gurudev, we warmly welcome you and your delegation to our island and express our deepest gratitude for your life-changing work.
Gurudev is the founder of the Art of Living Foundation, a volunteer-based organization that has centers in 180 countries, including Jamaica. He is on a one-week-long visit to the island, courtesy of Amber. Art of Living is accredited by the United Nations and offers self-development programs, meditation exercises, and disaster relief efforts. Prime Minister Holness says Gurudev's global message of peace aligns with his administration's vision for Jamaica.
And I like what you have said, Gurudev. Peace brings prosperity. And where there is prosperity, there will be peace. I have been saying something similar, Gurudev. And I have been saying we need to focus on peace and prosperity, but we add in one more thing, another P, productivity. And that is how we create a virtuous cycle of humanity. Where there is peace, persons are more productive. And when there is greater productivity, there is more prosperity. And when there is more prosperity, there is more peace. And we want to bring Jamaica into this virtuous cycle of both personal, community, and national development.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. A man who forced a teenager into performing sexual acts on multiple men has been sentenced to 11 years in prison. Keron Watson was sentenced in the St. James Circuit Court on Friday. He was also ordered to pay $2 million in compensation to the victim, who was 18 years old at the time of the incident. Watson has pleaded guilty to 3 counts of trafficking in persons on October 28. He was ordered to serve 11 years and 6 months for each count, to be served concurrently. The court heard that in January 2017, Watson tricked the young woman into believing he was a talent scout. Under the pretense of arranging modeling jobs, he invited her to his house, where she was held against her will. Watson forced the victim to engage in sexual acts with multiple men, which he recorded on video. Prosecutors revealed that Watson profited from these encounters and later threatened to use the videos to blackmail the victim. The crime was reported to the police, leading to Watson's arrest during a raid at his home in April 2017. Watson was represented by attorney Donovan Collins. And now to news in the region. 6 opposition legislators in the Bahamas, including opposition leader Michael Pintard, have been suspended from 2 sittings of Parliament for their role in last week's incident when the mace was thrown out of the chamber. Last Wednesday, the deputy leader of the main opposition, Free National Movement, Shannon Cartwright, threw the mace out of Parliament, forcing the Speaker to order his removal. Cartwright had protested the Speaker's decision not to allow Pintard to address the controversy surrounding allegations in a U.S. indictment that members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force were involved in drug trafficking. In denying the request, the Speaker explained that it was against House rules. However, Cartwright stood and shouted, "Let the people speak," before marching to the Speaker's table, grabbing the mace and throwing it out after several attempts to open the window. National Security Minister Wayne Monroe, who is also the leader of government business, moved a motion to suspend Pintard, Cartwright, Kwasi Thompson, Adrian White, Adrian Gibson, and Iram Lewis. On the international scene, thousands on the streets of Seoul are celebrating after South Korean MPs voted to impeach President Yoon Suk Yeol. Yoon has been suspended while the Prime Minister is serving as acting president. The Constitutional Court now has 6 months to decide whether to sustain his impeachment. A total of 204 MPs approved the motion to impeach Yoon, who plunged the country into political turmoil with a short-lived martial law declaration last week. Yoon says, "I am temporarily stopping my journey," but adds that he will do his best for the country until the end. Let's now turn to sport. Rain meant only 13.2 overs were possible on the opening day of the third test between Australia and India in Brisbane. Openers Usman Karatala and Nathan McSweeney guided Australia to 28-0 with an LBW appeal by Akash Deep against the latter, the only chance of note at the Gabba. The 5-match series is level at 1-1 after Australia's 10-wicket win in Adelaide last week. India made 2 changes to their side from the second test, with Seema Deep replacing Harshit Rana and Ravindra Jadeja coming in for the fellow spinner Ranjana Ashwin. The only play came in 2 spells during the morning session after India won the toss. Play was abandoned just over an hour before the scheduled close. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at 9. Economists call on the BOJ to do a better job of balancing the needs of customers and deposit-taking institutions regarding the availability of currency notes. Ministry of Labour and Social Security will continue conciliatory discussions with the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association on December 17. Man who forced teenager into performing sexual acts on multiple men has been suspended to 11 years in prison, sentenced to 11 years in prison. I'm Andrew Cannon. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next at midday.
You've just heard Nationwide News Now at 9.
Outperform, outlast, we top performance, Jackama, reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
All I want for Christmas is... Wait, Chris and Charles has great loans and something extra special this season? Yes, we're spreading joy to everyone. Starting November 1st, 2024, get a low interest rate Christmas loan and a special reward just for you. Call 876-926-0609 or visit our website for details. Better hurry, conditions apply. Stocks are limited. Promotion ends December 23rd, 2024. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Are you ready?